Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Dolores Tarver. I'm a licensed psychologist here in Georgia, and it is time for the tea. Tea Time with Dr. Tarver is a wellness based podcast. It is not intended to be a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health provider. So, welcome back to our Healing for the Holiday Season series where we are discussing all things related to mental health and the holidays. We have navigated through Thanksgiving and are moving forward to Christmas, which is only a few weeks away. And often this can be a very difficult time for people in terms of loneliness. Have been losses or deaths during this past year. It may have been a recent breakup, a divorce, a separation. People have social anxiety during the holidays. You may be separated from family for various reasons. You may be serving in the military. You may be working overseas as a contractor. You may just not live in the same region as the rest of your family. You may not be able to get home to see them. We have the COVID variant Omicron out there that may be prohibiting people from traveling, being able to even access the United States or get to other places abroad. So it can be a tough time for people. So let's go ahead and get into it. What do the lonely do at Christmas? So you all are very well aware that we've talked a lot about in the previous series when we discussed anxiety, that there are just some people that are very socially anxious. There are people that are just uncomfortable. We've talked about people who are recovering from trauma and their discomfort around people, just that vigilance and the anxiety that the holidays could bring. Unfortunately, here where I live, Thanksgiving day, there were actually some deaths. There were shooting in people's neighborhoods. So sometimes people just don't even feel safe, unfortunately, to go out for the holidays. Could be prohibitive weather that could be interfering with people being able to get out of their homes. Some people may be older and not able to get around as much, or maybe just concerned about getting out and getting exposed to things. As I mentioned earlier, this Omicron variant, and even for those of us who are vaccinated and boosted, you could still get symptoms, and people are very concerned about putting themselves at risk. Of course, there are the regular things that I mentioned earlier, the breakups, the losses, grief, those kind of things that happen. But then also sometimes people have to work and you're not able to get off for Christmas. I know for a lot of people, Christmas is a holiday they look forward to because it is a time often where families can gather, may be able to be off Christmas Day even if you aren't off other days. But sometimes we're not able to get off work because there are still things that need to run and function. So people have to work. Our front line service providers may be working. You may be in contracting and working somewhere. You may be someone that gets called out because there's a power outage or a water leak. There could be a gas leak, any of those things. You also may just be at odds with members of your family right now. We discussed bringing side eye for dinner in one of our previous episodes. There just could be some family conflict. There might have been trauma that occurred in the family, even with the loss that happened in the family, that can bring up some really negative dynamics and interactions in family members. And so may very well be estranged from families. Sometimes when people aren't dating anyone, the holidays can feel very lonely for them because they're watching all those great Hallmark and Lifetime movies and seeing these fantasized romances, and it's making people nostalgic and just feeling very much like they're alone because they're not partnered during the holidays. You may have just decided that you want to take some time to yourself. You might be healing from a surgery or an injury and just not in a position to be able to get up and move. You may not be as mobile. We've talked about some people have chronic illnesses, medical conditions that just make it difficult. Crohn's can make it really difficult to want to be around people and travel. Parkinson's. You may have seizures. You may have MS. You may be in a wheelchair and not want to have to navigate being in different homes. Some of us just are uncomfortable being in other spaces right now because we've just had an increase in our anxiety as we've navigated through this COVID experience. So, whatever the reason, you may find yourself at home. You may have all of your family members and friends may again not be around, may be deceased, and so you may be the last of your kind, if you will. And so all of these things can make it really, really challenging for people during the holidays. So sometimes what ends up happening as a result of that is that we engage in unhealthy coping mechanisms. So that's when I may be drinking to numb that pain. or I may be using other substances to numb that pain. I may be overindulging in marijuana, not using it for recreational use or for pain management or for sleep, but using it to escape. I may be gambling, so I may be on the computer spending money. I may be shopping. I could be overeating, binge eating to be able to stuff those feelings on down. I could be thinking about self harm or engaging in self harm behaviors. There are a lot of people who are at risk for suicidality during the holiday season because of those feelings of loneliness and depression. I may be dealing with significant mental health issues during this time, which may be causing some of the conflict that exists in family members, in our family interactions. Sometimes we can get on social media and we just post these cryptic messages to try to see if there's somebody out there. We can isolate ourselves when we're not doing really well and just push people away who would want to be there for us if they were allowed. So, as we move into the Christmas season, I do think it's important for us to think about what are some healthier ways that we may be able to manage feelings of loneliness, sadness, depression, even being isolated from people, feeling disconnected. Maybe again, I'm socially anxious and so I'm just not comfortable. I've got some health conditions that may be interfering. What are some things that I can do to be able to manage in healthy ways? You know I like a good plan. And so I do think it's important for us to create that Christmas plan. So, what am I going to do? If you are a person who values connecting to other people, and most of us do, most of us feel fairly comfortable with other people. And if we do have anxiety, it may not necessarily be so prohibitive as to stop us from interacting. I do encourage you, if you're not around family, to connect with friends, connect with coworkers, connect with faith-based institutions, connect with volunteer organizations, connect with social support services online, groups, chats, things that people may be involved in. Because one of the best ways to deal with feeling lonely, right, is to be around other people. And so, even if I'm not necessarily able to be around the people that I'd want to, or I'm new to an area and don't know anyone, there are ways for me to be able to connect with other people. Volunteering during the holidays is absolutely a great way to do that. If you're new to an area, you're not around people that you know, you're trying to create relationships. There are a lot of community organizations that do volunteering for the holidays, whether that's going to feed people, whether that's you going to their location to feed people, whether that's going to first responders, frontline workers, construction workers, people who may be having to work on this day that provide vital services so that we can have what we need, taking meals to them. A lot of times during this time of year, people will adopt, insert different things there, adopt a family, adopt a child, adopt a street, and so that you're able to provide different things in that way. So it may be toys for kids, it may be warm clothing, it may be meals, it may be a service such as managing someone's yard because they're not in a position to be able to do yard work anymore. It could be cleaning someone's home because they're not in a position to be able to clean their home anymore. You may be able to also connect with other people who are alone for the holidays. Sometimes restaurants will have an opportunity for people to come in and eat, and then they'll just kind of put you all together so you get to fellowship with people that you didn't know that you didn't come with. So that's an opportunity. If you have to work, create some joyful moments at work, right? In that holiday spirit, you all may um, write some nice notes to each other about how much you appreciate your coworker. You might decorate where you are. You may put on a little Christmas music, bring some treats. We all like a good treat. You might just want to spread that cheer to your customers, your coworkers, or your patients that you may be seeing, right? So you're spreading that joy, creating that holiday light yourself, right? Because we are the light. If you are a person who is not able to get out, then we have video connections that would allow you to be able to connect with people. So whether that's Skype or FaceTime or Zoom or Teams, there's so many different ones that you can get on now to be able to video chat with people and see other people so that you can create those moments and maybe we can do something together, right? So I'm not there with you, but one of our holiday traditions is that we do a talent show, and so I can still be a part of the talent show via video. or we can eat together, even though you all are there. I'm here. We can break bread, if you will, together, or we can sing favorite songs together, or tell funny stories and jokes together. So we can utilize this technology that we have. If you are a person who is uncomfortable, who has social anxiety, maybe a trauma survivor, someone who is dealing with some mental health issues or some chronic issues that just make it not comfortable for you to be around people, or you just want to take a break, right? Because I don't always want to assume that people want to be around folks. Sometimes people need to take time to themselves and not look at it as they're isolated, but that they're intentionally creating a space for them to take care of themselves. So you can create a list of things you enjoy. Might be crafting, art, gaming, music. You may want to do project at home, yard work, decorating, cleaning, organizing. All of us need to get rid of some stuff. Might be painting. You may decide that you want to just have a self care day, some meditation, yoga, have some nice candles, uh, do a spa day for yourself, or soak your feet, give yourself a pedicure, manicure. You might want to bake some things because the aromas, the smells are so great. They fill up your home. You may want to have a blanket that you're making, quilting, all of these texture things that you could get involved with. Watching some good holiday movies can be something that can bring you joy. But also, you can send cards to people, you can text people, you can message people. And so, even if you're not comfortable necessarily interacting with people, then you can still connect with people in other ways that let them know that you're thinking about them without putting undue stress on yourself. And then you may just want to have an online community available, just people who are there that you can talk to, but you don't necessarily have to leave your home to do so. People who may be experiencing similar things, people who also may be wanting to take a self care day, or people who may be experiencing mental health concerns or medical concerns. But sometimes when we find people who share what we're going through, it connects us in ways that feel comfortable to us. If you are in that space of feeling like you might want to hurt yourself, feeling significant depression, isolation, and you really do want to reach out to someone and talk to someone, and there may not be someone around, do know that our crisis lines will be available during this Christmas holiday. So, the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800 273 TALK. Again, 800 273 TALK. Crisis text line for people who are more comfortable texting. All you have to do is just text the word home, HOME, to 741 741. Again, text the word home to 741 741. I'm Alive, which is online crisis chat. So you can be on the computer chatting with someone. That's I'm Alive. And then Samaritan Crisis Services, 877-870-4673. Again, 877-870-4673. Whether you choose to be at home and utilize this as a self-care opportunity, you choose to be at home because you're not comfortable going out, you are at home because you don't have people to connect with, or you choose to go out and connect with some people, create some new experiences. It is all up to you and what works best for you. But whatever you choose during this Christmas season, be well.